Hi guys, it's Emil, and this week's topic is coming out to extended family and relatives. So I'm just gonna tell you how I came out to my extended family, and then I'm gonna give you some advice from my personal point of view on how to do that. Yeah. So when I came out in general to anyone except my mom and a few close friends I wrote a post on Facebook just telling people that I'm transgender, I use this name, I want these pronouns, I'm going to go through a medical transition, and just like briefly explaining what that meant to me. I have most of my extended family on Facebook, so most of them saw and they were supportive from the very start. There are a few that like I haven't checked with since then, and I don't really know if they know, and I don't really know if they support me, but you know, we'll have to see about that. There was one that had some issues in the beginning, but then came around and has since told me that, and is now fully supportive. There's like a few that don't have Facebook, and one of them, I was actually seeing that person not long ago, like at Christmas, and I was going to that person to get picked up, and I needed to call to make sure that I had the code to the door into the apartment building, and I called and I was like, wait, does this person know? And they answered, and I was like, it's Emil. And they were like, oh hi, and I was like, oh, thank God, somebody else told them. So yeah, but fully supportive, it's been fine. I'm very, very fortunate in that sense, and I am very grateful that I am in this position. But the advice I have for people who are coming out to extended family and relatives is just do it in your own way. You don't have to make a status on Facebook and tell everyone at once. You know, you can write letters, you can call them, you can write them private messages, and you don't even need to tell everyone face to face. You know, if you have like a cousin and they have a bunch of people on their side of the family, you can just tell one of them and be like, hey, can you tell these other people? And they probably will, like if they are supportive they will, and they will explain. And yeah, so there are a number of different ways to do it. You know, you can call, you can write, you can make a status on Facebook if you want to, but there are very many different ways that you can come out. You can also come out face to face, like whatever. Don't feel like you need to do it in a certain way. Don't feel like you need to come out to everyone at once. If you're not coming out to everyone at once and you don't necessarily want everyone to know, it's really good to tell the people that you're telling not to spread it, because things can spread in families. One thing that is also really important to remember, especially when it comes to extended family, that's not like necessarily in your immediate area all the time, or like in your life all the time, is that if they don't accept you right away, try not to put too much energy into worrying about that, because chances are they will come around. A lot of people will actually come around after a while. You know, we had a person write into our Tumblr a couple of days ago saying that they had at first not been supportive of their trans brother. That's not extended family, but still. But now they were, because they had educated themselves and said that we had helped them and everything, and it was just very touching. It was great. Bottom line is, people can come around even if they aren't initially supportive. That's not to say they will, like I can't guarantee anything unfortunately, but they can actually come around with time. Just like do it in your own way, do it in your own pace. If you have supportive people around you in your family, you can ask them to help. Like I asked my mom to help me come out to my grandma. If you're coming out to somebody of an older generation or somebody who tends to be skeptical in general, one thing that I was actually recommended by my gender clinic is that you don't tell them that you are transgender and this is how it is and this is the name, these are the pronouns. You tell them that you are going to therapy for this. In my case, it's like I'm getting an assessment, I'm doing this entire thing. So you're going to therapy for this if you're going to therapy. And chances are that this person might be a transgender person, just so you know. And that way they feel involved in the process, and it's also not like set in stone immediately. So it's not as big of a shock to people who might be shocked by that. So that is also a tip that I have for the older generation of people who can tend to be skeptical. If you wanna say that, just say that you're going to therapy for this. We're gonna see how it turns out. But just so you know, yeah, you could say that you prefer a certain name or certain pronouns already then, but just so that, like, especially if they're of an older generation, that it's not as big of a shock to them. Because sometimes when people are shocked or when something is just like very set in stone, they immediately oppose it, whereas if it's not something that is as, you know, assertive, it's easier for them to take sometimes, and that can in turn be easier for you because their reaction won't be as violent as it would have been, or like as, you know, dramatic as it would have been if you'd come out in a different way. Perhaps, we don't know. So that is what I have to say about coming out to extended family and relatives. I hope some of my very few tips were helpful. If you have any questions that you think I could answer, just write them in the comment section below or contact me on my Tumblr. Link is in the description as usual. And I will see you next week. Love you. Bye.